Hello, Guyana's first health expo opened today. Hope you plan on visiting over the next few days. Today we start with positive health-related news. CT scanners for Bartica and New Amsterdam hospitals. Minister Gaskin dubs Trade Expo bigger and better, Guy Expo 2.0. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sydney Alicock weighs in on the recent Maize Secondary Culture Day in Broglio. GPF and Zara collaborating to offer free computer training. A new survey shows that Guyana's repeat offender rate among prisoners is lower, and works underway to ease congestion at key railway embankment junctions. And now for the details. In another significant upgrade to the delivery of health services, the New Amsterdam and Bartica hospitals are getting new CT scanners. Delicia Haynes reports.
The operationalization of the computed tomography CT scan machine at New Amsterdam in Region 6 is expected to begin July 1, 2018. Modifications needed to be done to the facility before the installation of the equipment.
From July 1st, these services will be made possible to residents of New Amsterdam. Not only New Amsterdam, the entire East Berbice. We find that half of our transfers to GPHC is because of injury to the head. We cannot diagnose and treat here because we did not have a CT scan machine. But now with that being in place, we'll be reducing the number of transfers to GPHC, hence providing better services to the residents of East Berbice Quarantine.
The Bartica Regional Hospital is also constructing a building to house its CT scanner. This is expected to be completed shortly. After a supervisory visit conducted by Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, the machine is expected to be functioning before September.
I also saw the CT scan, the building where we're going to put the CT scan very soon. It's about, I would say, about 80% complete. What's left there now is just some doors and a little tiling and windows, I think, and maybe just some the electrical work.
Both regions had acquired the machines after a donation from Rad Aid in 2016. These machines will offset the high number of daily referrals to the Georgetown Public Hospital. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
Guy Expo 2.0, that is how Business Minister Dominic Gaskin has dubbed Guyana's first business-to-business trade exhibition set for September. The event, which was launched today, will serve as a platform for local businesses to network with international buyers and investors. Crystal Stull reports.
Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin described the trade show as an improved model of Guy Expo, which aims to promote Guyana as an investment destination.
We have been thinking for some time about how we can improve the Guy Expo model. And it's not that we have anything against Guy Expo, but I don't think that Guy Expo was meeting or achieving the kind of outcomes that we as a government are looking for. It was successful in its own way, but we wanted a model that was more focused on matching exhibitors with potential buyers, international buyers, and promoting exports.
Minister Gaskin said the initiative is designed to increase sustainable private sector investment and increase value-added production and exports in Guyana.
It is an important initiative for the Ministry of Business, and we want to get it right, and we have to get it right. Participating businesses must receive tangible long-term benefits through interactions with international buyers attending this expo. They will also receive capacity development training to prepare them for trade show participation.
Businesses interested in participating in the exposition can register through the Guyana Office for Investment. The Guyana Trade and Investment Exhibition is expected to be an annual event. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
26% of the Amerindian land demarcation has been completed and over $500 million has been spent on the Amerindian land titling project. Alexis Rodney reports that the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs is seeking an extension to the project.
The project, which began in 2013, will end in October. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sydney Alicock said while work is progressing, there have been some technical and political issues within some communities. Addressing the Parliamentary Sectorial Committee on Natural Resources at the National Assembly today, Minister Alicock explained that the situation is not about money, but time.
We know that the work is time consuming.
So are you suggesting that you need more manpower?
That is what we are. We need time, we need manpower, we need equipment, and that is what we have been embarking upon.
Speaking to journalists after the formal meeting chaired by Member of Parliament Odinga Lumumba, he said that much could have been accomplished were it not for the teething problems in some indigenous villages. These include court cases and some political deadlock. The ministry is hoping to have at least 4 Amerindian communities demarcated by October, and with an extension begin the process in other communities.
I have not been able to title any village because we want to do things that is truly reflected in the free, prior, and informed consent process. We have found a lot of communities that have been, I think, badly treated. We have the boundaries are not correct, and the people keep complaining. It's more than I could actually explain here.
With the challenges within these communities, Minister Alicock surmises that the project could come to an end in maybe 10 years' time. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
And staying with our First Peoples, Minister Alicock weighed in on the Mays Primary School's imbroglio involving a student attired in traditional indigenous wear for a Culture Day event. Stacey Carmichael has the details.
It is something that I would not have expected since we are embarking upon social cohesion and unifying of the country, and we are multi-ethnic, multiracial community, and we should be more understanding, more respectful for the citizens of this country. But we have the authorities who are addressing this as I speak.
On May 25, Joshua Chacon was refused entry to the school's premises after his traditional attire was deemed inappropriate. This was despite it being in keeping with the school's suggestion to wear attire reflective of his culture. Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Gridelo, yesterday expressed her hopes that the institution relays an apology to Chacon for going through such an experience. The minister is quoted as having said, quote, "I think they should have thought it through and viewed it as his culture and invited him in and explained it to the other students who may not have understood. They should have taken the opportunity to teach the children about the indigenous culture," end quote. The refusal to allow the student into the school's premises sparked a protest in front of May School yesterday that saw the participation of rights activists, NGOs, and other citizens and the boy's mother, Karen Small. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
The Guyana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative is preparing to submit its first report since becoming a member last year. Here is Tiffany Rodias.
National Coordinator for the GYEITI, Dr. Rudy Jadupat, says the final draft for the inaugural progress report has been completed.
The MSG will have a meeting on the 13th of June. They will do the final review.
That report details the Secretariat's work up until December 2017. It is due for submission to the International EITI Secretariat by July 1.
I feel very confident, not only in my ability to manage the process, but my vision.
The progress report is one of 2 initial reports that Guyana must submit following its acceptance as a member country in October of last year. The GYEITI also has to submit a reconciliation report by April next year. This has to be completed by an independent administrator, which the Secretariat is in the process of finalizing for hire.
We have identified there are 5 bids that were evaluated, and 3 of those bids actually satisfy the threshold, the criteria.
The GYEITI is expected to finalize hiring arrangements within the next 3 weeks. The reconciliation report will include information on Guyana's mining, forestry, and oil and gas sectors. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Natisha Isaacs tells us that the Department of Youth is partnering with the Guyana Police Force and the Zara Group of companies to provide free computer literacy training for over 30 vulnerable persons.
One of the organizers, Marcia Bell, said the participants will benefit tremendously from the training courses, the first of which started on Tuesday.
I find the Zara program very interesting for the young people because going to other computer centers, it's costly, and most parents cannot afford to pay for their children to do it. So I'm so happy that we introduced it to Zara and they welcome us here.
The officer responsible for the Zara Training Centers, Superintendent Shifbasan Bacchus, said the police force is proud to facilitate the training that will provide recognized certification upon completion.
And with technology of today's and the children who are going to school, they are utilizing the training here and ensuring the SBAs, they are going to get jobs with the certificate and so forth. So yes, it's a training with the difference.
Each course will last approximately 2 to 3 months and caters for working and non-working students, single mothers, teen mothers, and other young adults. For InfoHub, Natisha Isaacs.
Following the recent release of a prison inmate survey, it has been found that the rate of repeat offenders is lower when compared to more developed countries. Here is Tiffany again.
Acting Director of Prisons, Gladwin Samuel, says the recent findings show that the local approach to rehabilitate prisoners is working.
What I'm happy about, based on the findings submitted, is that while recidivism is something we have been working to reduce in Guyana, is that this study would have revealed that our recidivism rate in Guyana is way below many developed countries in the world. So it is pointing to the fact that our rehabilitative programs are serving the purpose in terms of preparing prisoners with life skills that will make them better as they go back into society.
Additionally, Samuel says the report's findings will be utilized to improve existing programs and craft new ones.
The Guyana Prison Service, with one of its main mandates to deal with rehabilitation of offenders in order to prepare them for re-entry into society, is something that we have been paying attention to, despite the fact we recognize the need for us to improve in terms of the number of persons we capture. Efforts are continuously being made in order to do so.
The inmate survey was conducted among a representative sample of prisoners across the country. It was funded by the IDB and implemented under the Citizen Security Strengthening Program of the Ministry of Public Security. The survey was conducted by the University of Guyana and the National University of Tres de Febrero of Argentina. Reporting for InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Road widening works to improve the flow of traffic are underway in the vicinity of the Giftland Mall at Liliendal. InfoHub's infrastructure specialist, Renetta LaFleur, was there and filed this report.
The rehabilitation works began March this year and are aimed at reducing traffic congestions during peak hours. Manager for Traffic Safety and Maintenance, Kester Hines, explained the scope of works.
The scope of works involve widening the road to facilitate turning lanes and through lanes. So for persons who are going in the eastern direction on the railway embankment in this vicinity, would not be interrupted by those persons who want to make the right turn into the mall. Likewise, for persons who want to make the left turn into the mall and then in the western direction, there would go into a slip lane and it would allow for the through lane to proceed.
GPL and GTT cables need to be removed for the project to progress, and Hines said the companies are in the process of doing so. Similar works will be executed on other sections of the embankment.
The intention is really to have what is going to be installed here. At the intersection, we're going to have just about 4 lanes, but we want to have it stretched a little further where we can have the same turning movements from independent lanes at other locations. For example, let's say like the intersection with UG Road and the railway embankment.
The $60 million project is being executed by BK International, and there has not been much disruption to traffic. Works are scheduled to be completed by the end of June.
From Lilian Dahl on the east coast of Demerara with videographer Leon Leung, I am Renetta LaFleur for InfoHub.
GCOM's registration continues until July 22. Visit the office in your area to get registered to vote. Local government elections are due by the end of this year. And once again, just to remind you, Guyana's first ever health fair is underway at the Sophia Exhibition Center. We will have a full report from the opening ceremony in tomorrow's InfoHub. Goodbye.